What do spiritual people mean when they say surrender? Hello and welcome, or welcome back. I am the Ugly Duckling1111. Today I'll share with you what this word means to me. I believe surrender is when I trust someone or something with all of my mind, body, and soul. I picture it in my mind like a trust fall with someone or something, only also standing at the edge of a very high cliff with clouds beneath me. And when I trust so completely, I can just close my eyes, let go, and fall back, believing with every cell in my entire body that it or they will never let me fall. So who or what the heck can we possibly trust that much? For me, I used to think it was supposed to be God, but I didn't know God, not the one religious people trusted in. I could never trust their God enough to do that kind of a trust fall with. So then I thought maybe I should be able to trust someone, like a true friend or a husband to that extent, but it didn't seem possible for me. Unexpectedly, it became a combination of myself and the universe. For the first time in my life, I could see all of my experiences and mistakes from a clearer, quieter mind and an open heart. I could suddenly see how masterfully my life was created. I receive signs multiple times a day, and they continue to remove any doubt that might want to creep in. I'll advise you that everything I'm about to say is my belief. I am not and never will ask anyone to believe in what I believe in. I am only offering my story to give you hope that you can find something to believe in and something to surrender to, so that you can sleep peacefully at night, no matter if it really is the end of the world or not. When I was young, I was so trusting and open-hearted. Most of us were. I believed what people told me because I didn't know lies yet. And each time I experienced deceit, it was so painful for me to learn that some people were deceitful just because they could be, lying just to lie, being cruel just to be cruel, heartless or soulless even. The more I was met by these people, or observed these people, the more I closed myself off. I built walls around my heart to protect it. I began to believe that everyone was terrible, cruel liars, and I was surrounded with no way out. And the more I believed this, the more they became a part of my reality. I reached a point when I stopped believing anyone. I rejected myself and felt shameful because I was so different from the people around me. I hated myself for feeling anything anymore. When was I going to learn how to stop feeling, torturing myself with hope that one day I'd finally meet someone I could trust, someone who was kind just to be kind? I gave up on that hope. I thought I was quitting on people, and I didn't care what happened anymore. Almost every day I wanted so badly to give up on this life altogether, to leave this planet. What hell was I born into? I tried believing in something, starting with religion. My parents are Catholic, but it all sounded like lies to me. Everyone else I knew followed Christianity, which isn't far off from Catholicism, so it still sounded like lies. I observed every religion, but nothing resonated. The closest to feeling something was with Buddhism. It made the most sense, but it was not practical for me. I couldn't surrender to any of them. Was there such a thing as God? If God did create me, what purpose could He possibly have for me? I felt like I was just taking up space. I turned to science for explanations, and I found what logically resonated with me, but it was just so frigid and left me feeling emptier than religion did. I started to think maybe I was just an accidental particle floating around with no purpose. When I asked those deep questions about life, I always felt something in my heart that refused to believe in any of the answers I was getting. I felt like even those questions were lies I was trying to convince myself to believe. But if there was one thing I did know firmly, it was that I do have a heart that feels very deeply, like love and the lack of it. And my heart hurts so badly. Why would this exist without a purpose? Why did love exist? I love rabbit holes, and I followed many of them as far as I could, and I gained a lot of wisdom on my journeys, but still, nothing resonated with me enough to surrender to. Until one lonely day, I was watching YouTube. I heard someone mention their higher self. The metaphysical theories that they were proposing combined spirituality and science. I had to know more about this topic, so I researched everything I could find about this theory of the higher self. So much of what I was hearing felt more like a memory to my heart, but I still have a healthy skeptic in my mind, the one that says I shouldn't trust these people. It could easily be another made-up lie, just like religion was to me. But my heart needed something to believe in, and if I couldn't believe in myself, even if it was a higher version, then there is truly nothing. My skeptic weighed the information I was getting, unrelated links of information that seemed to connect into a chain of truth I couldn't deny. Logically, it made sense. Spiritually, it made sense. I knew there existed a past version of myself. I knew I existed in the present. So logically, there existed a future version of me. I made a choice. I decided from that day forward to begin the journey of believing in an extension of myself that is pure love with pure intentions, who is guiding the present me. What was left to lose anyway? I was taught to believe that thinking about myself and doing for myself was selfish. I should care more about others. That was the road to happiness. But all I ever did was put others before myself, and I was one of the unhappiest people you could meet. I needed to believe something else. This was a difficult journey because of my upbringing. It was incredibly hard to put myself first, to prioritize what I wanted and needed. And if I wasn't getting it from others, then I had to begin taking responsibility for that. Prior to taking responsibility for my life, I lived as a victim of my circumstances. I was a victim of random selection. I had no choice in what I was born into. I was odd, annoying, and completely different from my family because I was dealt the bad genes. I wasn't lucky like my brother or my sisters. I wasn't beautiful or thin, clever, cute, or funny. And my way of thinking was backwards. This is why no one liked me. None of it was my fault. Nothing in my life made any sense, and I was a victim of all the negative aspects of it. With this newfound knowledge of my higher self, I learned a completely opposite theory through many different sources, many near-death experiencers. I used my own discernment, the same discernment that has kept me alive, surviving all this time, and it is well developed. I am a natural lie detector, and what these people were saying with open hearts resonated with me. I was given the same philosophy over and over again from very different sources, that I was the creator of this life. My soul comes from eternal love. Love is truth. Fear and death are illusions that we choose to experience for our own soul's growth. We are all conscious light, energy that cannot be destroyed, only transformed, and we are all connected as one. We are all God. God is one pure conscious energy, experiencing life through infinite perspectives. We are those perspectives who continue to expand. Our goal is to experience and lovingly include all of our perspectives to unite them again as one. We are the creators of our own experiences. This philosophy suggested that with growth and expansion in mind, and with a team of masters, together, we masterfully planned out this life I am living now. All the major events in my life, with many different timelines, I chose, including the school I wanted to attend, my classmates, my lessons. We collaborated to achieve growth and expansion of our souls. When it was time to come to this school, I would need to forget home. This is for many reasons and varies from soul to soul depending on what we are trying to achieve. Remembering home would hinder my growth and concentration. Earth is third density, and it is like plunging into complete darkness or small fragments of love. To find my way home would be a long journey of following the guidance of my heart, following the feelings of love. Whatever the case, it was necessary to be veiled, to achieve my goals here. And even though I will feel completely alone, I never will be. I will always have help and guidance from my higher self, my soul, and the masters to keep me on track. They are in a higher density, and my vibration on earth will affect the ways they can communicate with me. Every time I venture off track from what I want to accomplish here, together with my team I created plans to get me back on track. Sometimes these plans our souls create are brutal for our human selves, levels of extreme pain, but still, we create them. We are not victims of something outside of ourselves. We are guided in what we are capable of handling, and of our own free will, we agree to this plan. The further we venture off our path, the harsher the lessons get. The more we stay on track and surrender to our plan, the smoother our lives will flow. We are not aware of our plans when we arrive here. We do not remember what we chose for this life or how difficult the lessons will get. So sometimes the only thing we can do is find faith in ourselves, faith that we are here for some reason, belief in a higher power. And it doesn't matter what you call it, just finding faith that our souls, our higher self, who created this plan, knows exactly what we need to do. It is already written, and it is guided. This belief was not being imposed on me like religion was. It wasn't about placing all of my faith into an external source. It was about placing all of my faith into myself, to believe in me. This rang in my heart so loud, it shattered every other belief I ever had. Something finally made so much sense to me. My body tingled like my cells were remembering. I could feel it in my solar plexus. Nothing I had ever heard about life after death made any sense to me. Finally, I had found my truth. You know that feeling when you hear a song for the first time and its lyrics give you goosebumps over your entire body because the words resonate so clearly? No one can tell you that what you are feeling is not real. It was like that. I learned that Earth is a school of free will, where I will always have a choice to pass or fail, to take an easier route or a more difficult route back to love. There is no hell, no punishment for failure if I choose to believe this, because it is my belief that creates my reality. I chose to come here, and I can choose to leave. I knew this to be true because I watched my grandmother decide to leave. And she did the very next day. Death is an illusion. We are all connected to the same network, a universal net. My choices affect you, and your choices affect me. Our universe has 12 or more laws, like vibrations, polarity, rhythm. Life on Earth includes the law of cause and effect, a reaction to all our thoughts, feelings, and actions. What I put out, I get back. Incarnating is a divine experience, and it is very serious because I experience what I believe. Yet it is still my choice, my divine plan that affects everyone and everything. Through this philosophy, if I chose to come to Earth for my soul's growth, and if I'm capable of this level of love that I have here on Earth, what must my love be like as my higher self? Near-death experiencers and those with pre-birth memories speak of a love that our human minds cannot comprehend. They all have trouble finding words to describe their experiences. I've had this problem all my life, so I know what it's like to be frustrated with the lack of emotion built into our English language. But I can feel the energy they are trying to convey. I realized I must have been born into this life for a reason. I must have chosen my family for a reason. I must have chosen this difficult and lonely journey for a reason. My new goal in life became to heal my past, uncover my truths, and integrate the highest version of myself. I must be one amazingly powerful soul to have chosen this journey. I practiced Dr. Joe Dispenza's teachings to learn how to rewire my brain. I began concentrating on what I am good at and on the positive experiences of my life thus far. I felt deserving of this opportunity to learn. The more I practiced giving to myself and asking what I wanted and what I needed for my soul's expansion, the more I began to remember who I really am and why I came here, uncovering my purpose. This allowed me to stop playing the victim and to take back control of my reality. I just needed to start trusting in myself for a change, rather than trusting in everyone else who kept disappointing me. I awakened a dormant love inside of me and found strengths and gifts I never knew I had. I began putting the pieces of my life together to help read and uncover the lessons behind all of my experiences, and I recognized how difficult I've made the first half of my journey by resisting my authentic self. I uncovered truths that were difficult to look at, like how ashamed I really felt about myself. When I accepted me for all that I am and forgave myself for all I had done, the choices I made before I had this knowledge, I began to fall in love with the person I've become and the powerful soul that I am. I softened the way I spoke to myself and began treating myself kindly, like I wanted others to treat me. As I continued on this path of love and gratitude for my life, I began to notice the signs that were always pointing me towards the path of least resistance. Every day I make a genuine effort to focus on the positive things and acknowledge the beauty all around me. I changed the course of my entire life. This Earth School is one I want more than anything to graduate from. I can now appreciate that everyone is on their own unique journey. There is no need to judge others anymore. I realize that we are all just trying to get through our lessons and discover our purpose. A lot of us are very lost. This gave me the strength I needed to forgive everyone that has ever hurt me, including myself. Knowing that just like I was, they too are unaware, unconscious. They are asleep. This was the beginning of my spiritual awakening, the one we all hear so much about but can't fully understand until we go through it ourselves. I know me. I know how deeply I can love someone or something. I love with everything I've got, so the idea of being loved back by a greater feeling than this is enough to keep me sleeping peacefully at night. No matter what happens in my life, this I could believe in with every cell in my body, trusting a higher unveiled version of myself to catch me is someone I could finally surrender to. I now know the difference between a celestial love and an earthly one. I have been with my husband for 17 years. We were two lost souls trying to find our way through the darkness together. I trust him with all of my heart, yet he could shatter my heart with betrayal at any point in time. He is human, and he is outside of me. But I still choose to believe in him, and to love him with everything I've got. We have two beautiful children together, who I grew inside of me and birthed onto this earth, and I love them with everything I've got. The difference between my relationships here on earth and the one with my soul is that my earth relationships are outside of me. My soul is within me. It cannot betray me or be destroyed. It is my essence, and I can feel this love running through my entire body, my blood, my veins, my lungs. It calms my mind and fills my heart with content. This is what surrender means to me. Surrendering to myself. This was nearly 5 years ago now, so where am I today with this belief? The more I trust myself, believe in myself, the more evidence I see, and another layer of my veil is lifted. Surrendering to my higher love awakened my awareness of my soul within me, made me conscious of the reality I was creating for myself, and how I was affecting everyone and everything around me. I understand now that I hold all the power to change my reality for a better one, whenever I choose. I followed this rabbit hole as far as I could follow it, and my experiences brought me full circle to the start of this journey. My realization was that we don't need anyone else's story of where we come from. We only need to believe in ourselves. Problems in our lives begin when we start to doubt ourselves, when we start to look outside of ourselves for answers or beliefs. Mistakes are necessary to learning a better way. It is helpful and comforting, of course, to relate to another's experiences and to learn from their travels on their path to finding themselves. But it's important to always keep in your mind that their story is not your story. Make choices that best fit you. Allow yourself to make mistakes. They teach you which choices didn't work well. And when all else fails, keep moving forward. Looking to the past should only be to remind us of the lessons we've already learned. Speak kindly to yourself, especially when things aren't working out the way you wanted them to. Recognize that each and every one of us creates ripples with our thoughts, emotions, and actions. So seek out the things that make you happy so that you can create happy, loving ripples for everyone to ride. I love learning to love my mistakes. What are some mistakes you have made that helped you learn a greater lesson, a lesson you wouldn't have learned otherwise? Can't wait to read them. I hope you'll join me again for my next BLT. Peace and love.